Man, there are a lot of podcasts out there.
Definitely. I mean, there's 3 million shows, 50 million episodes, and more every day.
I mean, who has the time to figure out which ones are the best podcasts?
We do. That's who. What's up, guys? I am Alicia Renee.
And I'm Dax Holt.
And we are your host of Pod Sauce, a podcast discovery show.
Look at us as your podcast concierge.
We do all the work for you. We listen to the shows, review them,
pick the best episodes, and interview the hosts.
Pod Sauce. Let us help you find your next binge. Tell them where to go, Dax.
Go to podsauce.com.
From C13 Features, a new kind of listening experience.
He's back!
Help me!
Get out of there.
It's here.
No, don't let them in.
You can experience Treat, a podcast movie starring Kiernan Shipka, for free on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Grab some popcorn and enjoy the show.
Well, it is a fresh start to a week, you guys. Audrey is dressed like a piece of cotton candy. Mahoney's got a sunburn. I mean, what a weekend we had.
I mean, yeah, it was nice.
How's your throat?
I had a couple cigars.
Yeah.
Like 3.
A little rough, a little raw.
Yeah, a little bit.
How'd you golf?
Had 5 pars, and I hit a 300-yard drive.
I don't believe you.
The Dane and Mahoney Morning Show.
Listen live on the Odyssey app.
Let's get things going officially. Mahoney got some good news and some bad news to kick things off today. What would you like first there, my friend?
Dave, why don't we start off today's show with some bad news?
Yeah, this is some bad news. A guy whose name is Candy Franklin, which I don't know about you guys, but if I meet a dude named Candy Franklin who was going into a Waffle House at 1 a.m., he seems like he may be trouble.
If I meet anybody named Candy and they are not a stripper.
Or John.
R.I.P.
Not great.
I don't trust him.
So this guy ordered some eggs with cheese, but they forgot them,
That
according to
sounds
him.
tasty.
Yeah, I mean, eggs with cheese, you're maybe a little drunk, going to a Waffle House at 1 a.m.,
You think?
perhaps,
1 a.m. Waffle Houses. Either you are a trucker or you are drunk.
or both.
Yeah, for sure.
So he complained, hey, you forgot my eggs with my cheese, and when they finally did bring in the eggs, no cheese.
Oh, what the hell?
So he
Waffle
complained
House.
again. He said, you need to get my order right. While he was checking to make sure that they were right, he saw people running out of the restaurant, and when he looked up, he said that his waitress had a gun. So
That's on brand.
again, the details here, like he's checking his eggs to make sure they have the cheese, and then everyone starts fleeing the restaurant, and he looks up, and there is his waitress, Angelic Patterson, with a gun. She pointed the gun directly at him and threatened to shoot him. He decided he was going to call her bluff. And he said, there's no way you're going to shoot me over some eggs. And she cocked the gun, and then he
it was
realized
a shotgun.
she might actually do it, so he took off. In the end, she didn't fire any shots, but here is a rundown of how things developed.
They got my cheese eggs wrong. It all was just a normal dispute over food. I would never in a million years think that it'll come to gun violence. I said, I'm looking down at my food, trying to make sure it's right. And I see people just running, So that's when I look up, and she had the gun at me like this. Then I was like, you tripping, you ain't finna do nothing. And she caught it back. So I'm like, well, maybe she is finna do something.
Good
And her
play
name is Angelic.
Good play-by-play
ironic.
by that young man.
He sounded like he was maybe a little drunk, though, right?
You ain't finna do nothing. Oh, wait.
I think
They got my cheese eggs wrong.
when you have a gun pointed at your face, I feel like that sobers you up a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
there's a moment where you're like, oh damn,
Oh,
boy. I gotta focus here.
Things have gone off the rails. Some good news today as well. Congratulations to the great state of Colorado. They are tied for the state with the fewest shark attacks.
Well,
They are nowhere near an ocean.
they should have none.
I mean, they could be bragging about other things, like they have the lowest obesity rate in the country. That's a big deal,
Lots of
right?
hiking,
Actually,
lots
But
of moving.
instead, they decided that they were going to take a victory lap on the no shark attacks. What's interesting is that there's actually a whole bunch of states that do have shark attacks that are nowhere near a border as well. Like New Mexico, for example, had a shark attack last year.
How did New Mexico have a shark attack last
An
year?
aquarium worker got its hand nipped by a sand shark while on the job, and so they're considering that a shark attack. So
Sand shark.
in general, shark attacks are unusual, according to the Florida Museum of Natural History. But there were 57 confirmed unprovoked shark attacks worldwide in 2020, which was lower than the recent 5 years, which averaged 80 incidents annually.
I mean, there's only like 80 a year
yeah.
for the whole world.
80 every year. 3 Americans
if it was
and
just like
7
the
others
US,
worldwide were killed unprovoked.
80 in the U.S. alone, you would have thought? No way.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, like
you
see all
hear
these,
of like one.
well,
I feel like I see it on the news on a fairly regular basis.
yeah, there's always a couple of people in Florida that just get eaten, and then those poor, unfortunate people that are in like Massachusetts that somehow also get eaten. You're just like, oh,
Those are
man.
they don't like the, they like the cool weather. Those are cool weather sharks.
Cool weather sharks. Yeah.
They're so cool.
They're not a regular shark. They're a cool shark.
Let's get to the news. It's top stories.
Well, Mahoney, we talked about it last week. There was a new invention that came along that is dubbed a testicle bath, and it is an ultrasound that helps to control birth. So it's like basically birth control for men, but you just give your little boys a bath. And now, all of a sudden, the German inventors are winning awards for this unique ultrasound testicle bath. They got the country's top prize in the James Dyson Awards. So the industrial design graduate from the University of Munich and the inventor of the male birth control device was named as the winner as it celebrates, encourages, and inspires the designers of new problem-solving ideas.
I mean, I don't know if I necessarily want to win a Dyson award because it's either going to suck or blow.
I absolutely want to win that award. I don't know what you're talking about. That sounds great.
Every Dyson thing that I've bought, I feel like is way overpriced.
Oh, no,
it's
but it works
but
the
it
best.
works like the Dickens.
Not necessarily true.
What are you thinking of? What doesn't work
The vacuum.
best? Oh,
The
because it
vacuum.
doesn't suck or
Are you
blow
talking about
according to your standards?
The cordless vacuum?
Yeah.
That thing's great. What are you talking about?
Nah, I don't like it. Doesn't work as well as it should.
It doesn't work.
And I've had to
Picky.
and I've had to replace the battery in it too.
I've had to replace the battery in mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of normal, right?
No, it's not.
That's fairly normal.
No, it is
batteries die.
Yeah.
Cordless things, yeah.
Nah.
Would you accept it more if they won a J.D. Power and Associates award?
Yes, there's no higher honor in this country
than J.D. Power and Associates.
Who
are the associates?
Who is J.D. Power?
I don't know.
It's
Is
just
that a
somebody
guy?
they made up.
Is that a person?
The J.D. Power and Associates.
Do you actually get a trophy? Do they give you a certificate of some sort? Does somebody at Chevrolet have a whole shelf of J.D. Power and Associate trophies? Where do they go when you win it? Who
I
gets
googled
it?
J.D. or who is J.D. Power, and then it auto-corrected to who is J.D. Power and why should I care?
And why should I care?
I mean, fair question.
Yeah.
I love that it's been Google searched so much that it's the top pick.
So this individual that created the ball bath getting hooked up with a $45,000 prize if they're able to win the international award. So they're the winner in Germany, and now they're going to go on to the short list of the international competitors and $45,000.
So I don't know why I just had the visual when you said they won the ball bath.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine the not the JD Power, the Dyson swivel ball. You know what I'm talking about, that vacuum,
Yes.
the better one?
Yeah.
The giant testicle instead of a normal ball that you would be pushing around your
See,
house.
this is what happens when you try to blend stories about your vacuum and testicles. I'm sitting here talking about testicle baths. You turn it into a conversation about your vacuum, and then
Are you not
we end up
picturing?
here. No,
are you
no.
not picturing a
No one is-
Dyson ball vacuum
no one
with
is
a
picturing
testicle now?
It's got the lines on it. It's very realistic.
No one is picturing a pivot ball on a
I
vacuum
think
as
it
a giant
picks
testicle.
up a lot of lint too.
Uh,
Does a real good job.
what is your ball is picking up a lot of
What,
lint?
you never have lint
on
down
your,
there?
No. What are
linty
you talking
balls?
about?
Yeah.
He's got a linty belly button.
Well, I mean, that makes sense, kind of, because you got a shirt that maybe has some lint on it, but you wouldn't notice if your underwear had lint on the inside.
Who's looking at the inside of their underwear?
All the time.
Everyone is.
Never.
When you're
you
putting
put it
them on
No,
one leg at a time.
Nah, I just put it on.
What?
How would a bunch of lint get in there? Yeah, why are you such a psycho?
In the
What is-
dryer. It gets in there from the
you
dryer.
get lint on your balls.
I've had lint on my balls. Not
Regularly?
On I mean, it's happened before. But I imagine if I was dragging them across the floor, it would pick them up.
Did you just catch what Audrey's doing?
No.
Maybe they're having some kind of transmitting trouble. Why don't we phone the station?
Got a comment, complaint, or opinion for the Dave and Mahoney Morning Show? Leave the good stuff on our voicemail. 833-YO-DUMMY. Again, 833-YO-DUMMY.
Please leave a message after the tone.
What oddly specific feeling is best? I love it when you approach a red light and it turns green and you don't even have to slow down.
Message deleted.
Oh, God.
That's a good one.
Oh, that is
Man.
like...
The
That hits.
other thing that I really love is when you're pulling into a parking lot and there's a car in front of you and you're both headed towards the drive-through of the same place, and then at the last second they split off and go a different direction.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh, I'm just like, oh, yeah.
Whenever your gas
and
pump
the drive-through is wide open.
Whenever your gas pump hits like an even number.
Yeah.
What about
that hits right
when you're going to the bank at the ATM and there's 3 cars, 2 ATMs, and there's like 1 car behind 1 car at an ATM, and you decide to go in the other one, and that car pulls away
and
right
you choose
as you
the right one.
Right as you pull
Oh,
up,
yeah.
and you're like, oh damn, I got you, bitch.
Do you guys do that thing where you like straddle the ATMs if there's no one behind you?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm just going to sit here.
You do not do that.
Well, I mean, if there's no one behind you, but then if somebody pulls
You
up,
have to
then
make a
you got
decision.
to choose. Yeah.
And then if you choose the wrong one, there's no worse feeling.
There's this. You're like, how's 7 cars gone through there, and then this dude in front of me has his car in park, and he's on his 9th transaction.
This is my life now. I just live here.
What am I?
He works for Magic Mike. He's a mail stripper, and he's got to deposit all of those ones,
all that cash.
30 bills at a time.
Yeah.
Which, if you're going to deposit that much money in cash, just go inside. Literally, just go inside.
What if the bank's closed?
Then don't go.
Just don't go to the bank.
No.
What am I going to do with all these singles that I got from mail stripping?
Make it rain everywhere you go.
Yeah, that's true.
Please leave a message after the tone. It's strange when you have a setup where you're around a table full of candles in a dark setting, accompanied by other people while singing a chant. But for some reason, you do it every year at birthday parties.
Message deleted.
Yeah, birthday party's very reminiscent of a seance, just,
Or
during
cults.
the day.
Happy birthday.
Do you?
Isn't it kind of weird we celebrate just being alive for one whole more year? It's 1 year. We're just celebrate 1 year. It's not like a huge milestone.
I think you're right. I mean, like, kid birthdays are adorable, right? Like, my daughter, she's turning 3 in a couple of weeks. She's so excited every night. I told you guys this. She makes me sit down and tell her the guest list for who's coming to her 3rd birthday party. She's, couldn't be more excited. I love it. But by the time you get to, I don't know, let's call it even 17 years old, what are we doing having birthday parties? Nobody likes being sang to, do they?
Anything after 13 is
It's a lot.
Is insane. Maybe you go big on 16. Like, I don't even think you throw a party. You just, here's a car.
Okay,
but even then, I feel like that's
throw a party.
Let's go to 18. 18 years old because you're a kid, and then you turn into an adult.
You're talking milestone years.
Yes.
22 is dumb. 27 is dumb.
Does anyone like 14? Being sang to?
What's happening at 14?
But 13, 14, those are still kind of...
And parents are kind of holding on because there's only a few years left, while before the kids take off.
I did not want a birthday party at 14 years old.
I'm saying, what adult do you know that likes being sang to? Like, I used to be a professional singer at Outback Steakhouse.
Oh, you did, Dave.
Well, I was a server, and they made us all sing Happy Birthday. I can't tell you a single instance of where you go up to the table and you start singing, and the person that's being sang to is like, I'm delighted by this.
Well, it depends on the dessert that's being brought out. If it is an extravagant, fun, awesome dessert, hell yeah.
Outback had good desserts.
If it is just some mediocre it's like some mediocre cookie, singular cookie with sparkler, like Mahoney said, everyone's disappointed.
So we would, Dave, you were mostly correct, but in my time waiting over at the rival Lone Star Steakhouse and Saloon, there were
good call,
a
BT.
handful of times where somebody would ask, because what I would do.
It's called a BT Mississippi.
Well, Outback won. They did.
Yeah.
Lone Star started off strong, then they failed miserably.
Mahoney served at the AAA of steakhouses.
No, it was professional at the time. It's like English League soccer. We got demoted. They got demoted.
You weren't in the Premier League anymore.
We got bumped down to the Champions League. But there were times where I'd bring over either the brownie or the cobbler, and I would just go, happy birthday, because I didn't want to make all the other servers sing. And somebody was like, oh, don't you guys sing? And I was like, you son of a...
You mother...
What was your all's happy birthday song?
This is your birthday song. It's not very long.
Hey!
Happy birthday. That was it.
This is your birthday song. It's not very long. Hey! Yeah, that's it.
We just did.
I just love Mahoney. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And then you sang to, and they're like, you're right. That was much worse. What are we doing here?
Please leave a message after the tone.
As my wife and I started planning our 10th wedding anniversary, we were going to do a hotel up in the mountains, rent a boat, go fishing, take the kids, take the dogs. And then we both looked at each other and said, that sounds like a lot of work. You want to just see if my parents will watch the kids for 48 hours while we have the house to ourselves? And that's what we're doing for our 10th wedding anniversary.
that is romantic as hell.
That is such a better plan.
Yeah.
You guys can have sex like once or maybe twice in those 48 hours.
Watch
and then
all
just
the shows you want to watch.
All the adult shows with all the cursing and nipples that you please. Wow. What an anniversary. That's a way better plan.
Is that the things that people look forward to whenever their kids go to bed? Is like, I can watch shows that have cursing and nipples?
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's get to the news. It's Top Stories.
Well, good luck stealing this one, Mahoney. A pair of Ohio farmers took their 2,164-pound green squash to a giant vegetable competition and walked away with a world record. If you've never seen a 2,000-pound green squash before, it looks very pumpkin-esque, right? And you have a bit of a history with stealing very large, prized possession pumpkins.
I was not the pumpkin pilferer, Dave.
You were the drive guy.
I know. I was just in the car.
You were an accomplice. You were the lookout.
I was being held
hostage against your will, of course.
Exactly.
Yes, you would never participate. No, but the one that your friend stole was around 300 pounds?
400 pounds.
400 pounds,
Yeah.
which is insane.
Huge.
This is, 8 to 6x the size of what they stole.
If you drop, you could kill like 4 people if you drop this thing on them.
How do you even transport that? I mean, you have to have like a flatbed, right?
Definitely.
Strap that thing on.
I mean,
Imagine if it came off on the highway. You're like, I'm going to die via giant squash.
Dave,
I'm going to get squashed by squash.
Would it be a pumpkin pile-up?
A pumpkin pie.
Yes, Mahoney.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
It would.
Excellent.
That's right.
Excellent.
That's right. Put a little
You
whipped
should
cream on
see how delighted he is with himself right now.
I bet is that a promo?
Yeah.
We gonna make that?
Yeah. That's a solid pumpkin pie joke right there, my
So
friend.
this is such BS. So the Los Angeles County wants to compel the widow of Kobe Bryant and others involved in a lawsuit over leaked photos to take a psychiatric exam. So she is alleging that the photos of the crash scene, which were taken by sheriff's deputies, and then, as we recall, were shown to people in bars and leaked out.
Horrible.
Was totally inappropriate. Which,
without a doubt,
Absolutely.
I don't think
who disagrees
how
with
can
that?
Anybody agree with that?
So the fact that the folks in Los Angeles County are trying to compel her to take a psychiatric exam
For what? What is this benefiting?
to show whether or not she's of sound mind, which
So
is
to
total
what?
garbage.
So that her lawsuit can get thrown out?
They're trying to find ways to C-block her lawsuit.
This is a woman
Yes.
who lost her husband and her daughter.
And she has
in
been
the same day.
incredibly poised throughout
Without
all
a
of
doubt.
this. It's one thing, and my wife and I have actually talked about this. It's one thing to lose your spouse. I mean,
horrible.
Something you never get over, right? But losing a child is just—it's the worst thing in the
Every
world.
parent's
It is
And
the
the
nightmare.
worst
combination
thing.
of the two, and you had friends on
Right.
that plane. I mean,
Yes.
it was just. I mean, if she did take the psych eval, and if it did come off a little rocky,
Nah,
would anyone blame her?
the
Would
people-
anyone say anything about, hey, like maybe you aren't you have a little bit of some shakiness happening with your mental health right now? Nothing that would ever
Who cares if
derail.
she is
No, that's what I'm
if
saying.
if
Nobody would
like-
judge her.
No, I'm saying if she's suffering from whatever, this has nothing to do with anything. They're just trying to discredit her and F them for that.
Well, that's
Yeah,
that's
but
what I'm
for
getting at.
for
Is
them
that
to
no
even
one
bring
would
this
care.
up seems like such garbage. It's
Yes.
that whole like, have you stopped beating your wife yet
Yeah.
thing, you know? It's bringing something up to try to discredit when there is absolutely no
But
evidence
does it
up to
even
this point.
discredit it? Is what I'm getting at. Like,
No.
Does it even discredit her? I
No,
mean, she's
no,
a
not
human
at all.
being.
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
no,
Not
I
in the
agree.
But to even bring it up, it makes it part of the conversation, which is garbage.
Yeah.
She's been incredibly poised. All the times that we've seen her going up and
She
speaking
should
in
own
front
the
of
police
crowds and
department
everything else.
at this point.
Yeah, it's a really bad look.
What is
on
this
LA
lady's
County.
name that's being a loser and trying to call out? Do we have this lawyer's name?
It doesn't say what the specific lawyer is. It just says that the county's defense. So whoever is representing the county is the one that's bringing this up.
Garbage.
Yep. And there is and this is important, Mahoney, a Butterball turkey recall.
I mean,
I don't know if
actually,
you're
this
eating a lot of
does
turkey
sound
these days.
pretty important because salmonella does kill quite a few people every year.
They're saying that part of their turkey processor, they're recalling more than 14,000 pounds of ground turkey because it may be contaminated with pieces of blue plastic, which doesn't seem great. So if you buy the specifically ground turkey, so you don't have to worry about this if you're thinking about getting a regular Butterball for
what kind
Thanksgiving.
Of monster orders ground turkey?
Kroger ground turkey? You've never had ground turkey? It's great. What are you talking about?
You were actively seeking out ground turkey?
Hold on, Mister.
Yes.
I stopped eating meat entirely. I
healthiest
stopped having
option.
any sugar. All that,
Yeah.
Mister Ovo Lacto Vegetarian guy over here. is giving people a hard time for eating a healthier option to ground beef.
turkey.
Meat.
No, just eat straight up turkey.
No,
ground turkey.
Sliced turkey.
Ground turkey is like ground beef.
You can
but
do
worse.
ground turkey as like tacos,
Yes.
as a meatloaf substitute.
My wife makes taco salads with ground turkey from time to time.
I had
Delicious.
turkey burgers last night. Don't do it. Don't do it, Mahoney. Don't do it.
Yeah, I know. They're
What's wrong with the
garbage.
turkey
Well, they're
burger?
not as good as they're nothing. No matter what anyone says, a burger is a burger is a burger. You can't substitute it for anything else.
I would rather
like a turkey burger.
legit would rather have like Impossible meat than ground turkey.
You've never even had ground turkey.
I have had ground turkey in my life, and that's why I'm asking why anybody would willingly go back for more ground turkey.
It's delicious.
No, it is not.
Yes, it's just fine.
Oven roasted turkey that's been basted and covered in butter. That is delicious. And gravy. I had some over the weekend. Canadian Thanksgiving was Saturday.
You celebrated Canadian Thanksgiving?
I did.
Are you Canadian?
No, but I know a guy who is.
So you celebrated with him?
He celebrated Canadian Thanksgiving.
Did you guys get on Zoom together and just eat gravy?
I went to his house.
You went to his house? He had a Canadian Thanksgiving
This
party
is
at his
fake.
house?
This is America?
You can be Canadian and live in America.
Treasonous son of a bitch.
Tipsy or toddler?
If you spend a decent amount of time around people that have a whole bunch of drinks, you know that they sometimes, after they get to a certain point, say a bunch of things that are nonsensical, much like toddlers do. I mean, they will just utter things that don't make any sense. The question is, can you tell which is which? Ian has transcribed the thing that was said word for word. It's going to be read, and you guys trying to figure out if it was a person that is absolutely schnockered or a little kid that said it. Mahoney, you're going to take the first one. Audrey, you'll take the second one. Ian and I will bounce back and forth after that. Whoever gets more correct is going to be our winner today. Go ahead, Mahoney, with number one.
People are the same thing as animals. And animals are not the same thing as peoples because they have those different ceilings.
Is that a tipsy person or a toddler?
I'm going to go with tipsy person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very nice.
That was tough.
People are the same thing as animals. And animals are not the same thing as people because they have those different ceilings.
Yeah, there's different ceilings.
Mm-hmm.
What in the world?
Audrey is on the board with one. Take it away with number two there, Audrey.
Go, can it go? Go, can it go? Go, can it go? Can it go?
I think that's a toddler.
Yeah, that's a toddler.
I thought I got you. I thought I tricked you.
I thought you got him too.
So close.
Candy, go, 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 Candy, go, 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 Candy, go, 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 Candy, go.
Oh,
Dude, that's
real cute.
the hype kid we all need in our
I'm
lives.
surprised they didn't get put on Wise Words from the Web. Motivational.
So each of you have 1 point. Ring in by saying your name whenever you think you know the correct answer. Here we go on number three. Outside. You was outside here. You got it.
Audrey?
Audrey.
Tipsy person.
Yeah. That person. Very drunk.
One more time.
That's what I sound like when somebody cuts me off in my car. Audrey, you got two. Mahoney, you got one. Audrey, you get one more and you win today. Ian, number four, please, sir.
Clip number 4. I'm not picking up that blank. Foul word. I'm not picking up that turtle. It's too scary.
Audrey.
Mahoney.
That is a toddler.
Yeah. Yeah, sure is.
I'm not picking up that a flower. I'm not picking up that turtle. It's too scary.
Each of you, 2 points.
Which, by the way, that kid is very smart. Turtles will straight up bite your fingertip off.
Yeah, turtles. I mean, there's no recourse for them. They just bite the hell out of you, and then they just go into their shell.
Yeah.
And what?
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? I'm in my house.
They're
Leave me
not even
alone.
tasty.
All right, so each of you 2 points. Fifth and final one. All comes down to this. Good luck. I, George Janes, just hang in, and it's a shot.
Audrey. Oh, God.
Mahoney for the win.
For the win, that is a tipsy person.
It is. Well done.
I just hanging just shot.
What?
What?
Hi, George. I'm just hanging and shot.
Did I call the voicemail over the weekend?
Is she saying I'm George Jetson and I need a shot?
That was Dina from the classic Jersey Shore episode, actually, where they got hammered.
Hi, George. I'm just hanging and shot.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
That is a special kind of drum.
It's people whose lifetime goal is to own a fireworks stand. It's the Redneck Report.
There is something special about your backyard when you're a kid, right? Like you used to know every inch, every corner of the property that you lived on, whether it was a couple thousand square feet or a couple of acres, right? Like you knew everything. And if you had a toy back there, like a trampoline in your backyard, I mean, you were the king of the hill. If you were the kid that had the trampoline or the playhouse or the swing set, I mean, that was a luxury, right?
I had a clubhouse.
You had a clubhouse.
I had a clubhouse.
And tell me you didn't love that clubhouse.
I did until the spiders moved in.
Oh, yeah.
They took over.
They did
Did you have a club name?
Nah, not
No,
really.
what the? So it was just like
No girls
a
allowed.
hangout house?
You didn't have to put that sign out there, did you?
No, they just didn't.
No girls
they
showed
didn't
up.
come.
Yeah.
Not much has changed.
What a violation of a perfectly good trampoline. A Florida man is accused of jumping on a neighbor's trampoline while naked.
Oh, God.
And then later breaking into their home also naked.
The reason I say, oh, God, is because I'm just imagining jumping on a trampoline.
Yeah, lots of noises.
Well,
skin to skin action.
No, but the springs. I'm thinking like you get your leg caught in the spring, but if you're completely, everything else is out getting caught in a spring.
In 2021, do they even make the trampolines without the netting though anymore? Like I feel like it's part of the
it's a lot safer than it used to be.
How much does a trampoline cost?
I'm gonna say $1,200. I don't know.
Oh, $1,200.
Like a big boy, because you also got to get the.
I'm gonna go under
netting.
that. I'm gonna say $900.
So I'm seeing a 14-foot dual pro heavy trampoline with netting, $239.
And we can pick it up today.
That is going to break.
He is looking everything else around that $200 one.
Not
though.
the Walmart one.
The Walmart one, but the Walmart one right beside
Dick's
it
Sporting
is
Goods is
$1,200.
$349. Yeah, there's one that's like a fancy rich person.
Okay, but for
fancy
you,
rich person one.
Mahoney, you're the person who always is like, you know what? If I'm going to buy it, I'm going to buy quality. You wouldn't buy a $200.
No, when it comes down to trampolines,
Hang on,
I want
guys.
the trampoline that will definitely. Anytime there's the slightest wind, it blows at least 2 yards over.
There's a very important detail to this story. First off, the guy's name, not to be trusted. He's got a lot of names. Adrian Lee Gonzalez Bradway. He's 21 years old, and he was arrested and charged with burglary and criminal mischief. But the woman who owns this particular house with the trampoline said that she saw this guy jumping on the trampoline, touching himself.
Oh, no.
Was he going to town on
Like with
himself
every
while
jump?
ba-boing, ba-boing, ba-boing? According to the sheriff's office, he ran up to the woman's door after she saw him going to town on himself while jumping on the trampoline, demanded to be let in. The woman, of course, refused. And he then smashed her kitchen window, which sounds like a nightmare. So she had 2 kids in the house, a niece and a nephew, locked herself in her vehicle, and then called authorities.
Could you imagine if somebody was there to double bounce him? Like, I wonder if that would have been like the climax. Yeah, get all the way up to the top. Can I reach the mountaintop?
Lady in the trampoline? No.
No, Mahoney,
Stop it. Nice try, but no. No. So this is some
Just
big...
him slowly trying to eat a piece of spaghetti through the trampoline mat.
We just said
He was
no.
already nude.
We just said no.
You don't need more noodles.
You can't eat nude noodles.
You can't eat noodles in the nude, Dave.
You can? You can?
I've done
You've
it.
done it? Oh,
If you've
geez.
never eaten ramen
noodles.
if you've never eaten ramen naked, you're not living.
It's the only way to eat ramen.
real.
You guys do this
Butt
regular?
naked.
When's the last time that you ate ramen naked?
When my wife's out of town.
Oh, is that why you can't go back to that restaurant?
Yeah, I'm banned.
So this is some big stick energy.
It said it was faux. They were the faux king. Come on.
So the Lee County Sheriff's Office arrested a Fort Myers man that said that he was darting in and out of traffic while swinging a large stick out of the window. Emmanuel Gonzalez, 36, was running through traffic and arrived at the scene. There was a suspicious man swinging a large stick while running into the road, causing drivers to swerve to avoid hitting him. So deputies found this guy walking on the wrong side of the road. He was hostile and uncooperative when they tried to get a hold of him. He got tased. He went to jail.
Can you imagine every dog in the cars driving by?
They're like, oh, just give me a chance.
stick.
Give me a chance.
Let's get to the news. It's top stories.
So this is a wild story and one that we really hope has a happy ending. A group of 17 missionaries, including children, were kidnapped in Haiti on Saturday, according to a voice message sent to various religious missions by an organization with direct knowledge. The missionaries were on their way home from building an orphanage.
Oh.
And somebody kidnapped them. So
that's not surprising.
There's this gang in Haiti that I guess is known for kidnapping people that are missionaries, which is, again, terrible. But the U.S. has sent FBI agents down to try to resolve it. Whether or not they paid the ransom, we don't know. But 17 people get kidnapped after building an orphanage, including children. Hopefully a peaceful resolve to this situation.
Where's SEAL Team 6 up in this bitch?
And then cut their hands off, right?
I would just say shoot.
Just shoot them?
Shoot the kidnappers. If you're out here kidnapping missionaries who are out
building an orphanage. Yeah, you're the worst.
Mm-hmm. Bunch of bitches.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty low, right?
Yeah. It's like it's like the whole school, like whole house of school children get kidnapped by these warlords or gangs, and you're just like, dude,
you are the nut low of humans.
Like when it comes to like picking wars to fight, like can we just like go after these clowns instead of like other things?
Did you guys see the pictures of that fire in South Bay in San Diego over the weekend? 200 cars got burned on Saturday afternoon.
What?
How does that even happen?
So a fire broke out. It was like an auto wrecking yard.
Okay.
And they're saying that residents had to be evacuated out of their houses.
Oh, toxic fumes for sure.
More than 200 cars burned and damaged. There was a couple of buildings as well.
Wait. Did 200 cars just get lit on fire, or was it like a combustion thing, like one fire, like dominoes effect?
Yeah, basically. It's an auto repair shop and a vehicle storage facility, and so like once one goes, and then 5 go, and then 10 go, they all go.
Gosh.
But 200 cars went up in flames. So they dubbed it the Cactus Fire at about 12:30 p.m. on Saturday. Wasn't clear how the flames started, but at a briefing around 3:30 in the afternoon, it was announced that the fire no longer active. So they did a good job of getting it out, but more than 200 cars and a home went up.
Do we know
flames.
whether or not it was the flames from a PT Cruiser that set this yard afire?
It certainly could have been, Mahoney. Good thinking.
Was Guy Fieri seen anywhere in the area?
He was not, which seems suspicious.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I know he hangs out mostly in Santa Rosa, so it's a little outside of his range.
He just walked by and his shirt caught all of the vehicles on fire. So recap of the weekend. If you were a sports bettor and you bet on the side of the favorites, boy, did you have a good weekend. The sports books had a real tough time, and that makes me so sad for the sports books, Mahoney. I mean, they try so hard to take our money.
Does it make you feel bad because did you win a lot of money?
I did pretty good this weekend.
Yeah, this is Dave talking big over here. The thing is, Dave, about the house and feeling bad for the sport. You feel because everybody took the sports books money. They always end up winning.
Of course they do. But
always.
At least I have a little house money to play with on the Monday night game tonight. That's all I need.
Who's playing tonight?
It's
Baltimore's playing tonight.
No. Baltimore was yesterday. They beat the Chargers.
Oh no, it's Buffalo.
It's Buffalo and Tennessee. So the Bills are on the road at Tennessee. What do you think the line is, Mahoney? Before looking,
Buffalo at Tennessee. Ooh, +7 Buffalo.
You think Buffalo's a 7-point?
Excuse me, -7 Buffalo.
Close. So 6 in most places. But yeah, so Buffalo favored by less than a touchdown. But the thing is, Tennessee's been very up and down and kind of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde throughout the entire season. So, depends on if you think that the Bills are going to have a similar performance like they did last week against the Chiefs.
Been on fire. I mean, he really has been.
He's on your fantasy league, right?
Yeah.
The big stories of the weekend: Miami lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars, so Jacksonville got their first win on the season over in London early yesterday.
Urban Meyer maybe grinding on that blonde chick. All right. Maybe it's the Tiger Woods effect.
The Arizona Cardinals.
If you're not hooking up with blonde, I guess that was in Ohio, not Florida, but still.
The Arizona Cardinals had a huge game against Cleveland. They just crushed them. And the Dallas Cowboys, they barely in overtime beat the New England Patriots. But the Dallas Cowboys, every single game this season have covered the spread. They're 6-0, the only team. And the Las Vegas Raiders, even despite all of the tumultuous nonsense that's been going on this past week with John Gruden getting pushed out and everything else, the Raiders went to Denver and beat up on the Broncos
Which
very
a lot
effectively.
Of people didn't think that they were going to beat.
They were an underdog. They were like 5-point underdogs.
And
by
the
time
line shifted some more right
towards
before the game
Denver.
started.
Yeah,
exactly. And but also Tom Brady and the Bucs. Like this, like, are we gonna see another back-to-back Brady Super Bowl?
I mean, maybe.
Would you hate it?
No, but
Bucks
yes.
look pretty good. And the game last night, overtime as well for Seattle and Pittsburgh Steelers. Geno Smith under center for the Seattle Seahawks because Russell Wilson's out for 4 to 8 weeks with his messed up finger. Went to overtime, end of the game, total mess. Officials screwed it up pretty badly, but the Pittsburgh Steelers ended up winning that one. But excited for the game tonight. So at 5:15 on ESPN, and I don't know, I think they're doing the Manning cast again tonight.
I thought they've been doing that all season,
They
right?
took at least 1 week off, so
Yeah.
I don't know if it's every single week because Eli's like launching he's got a new show he's launching and all this stuff. I don't know.
Is it a live action Mr. Potato Head show?
You hate him, don't you?
That's really hurtful. Why you say that?
Every weekday morning from 6 to 10. The David Mahoney Morning Show.
So tell us about the experience that you had at a carnival, theme park, or fair. Every weekend right now, I'm going to some sort of carnival or theme park or fair because it's spooky season. And generally, the biggest takeaway for me is that I'm just constantly getting ripped off. We went to look at some Halloween lights on Friday night, and, same thing. It's like $60 to get the family in.
You went, like, not in somebody's neighborhood? There was a place you paid to go look at Halloween lights?
It's like a display. It's like, yeah.
And it wasn't a haunted house?
No, I mean, you've been Opportunity Village. You've been there
Yeah,
before.
it's okay. I didn't know they did a Halloween thing.
They do. I think didn't we go to the Halloween one together one year?
No, I think we've only gone to the Christmas thing.
Maybe it was just the Christmas
I remember
one.
you saying the Christmas one was so whack.
Well, so it depends on, like, Opportunity Village generally does it really well. But
Or maybe this was a different
that
one.
was a different one, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of them. My experience is that most of them are pretty whack.
Yeah.
But the biggest takeaway for me is that it's just a total ripoff.
Yes.
I mean, I'll go in and, they're selling all kinds of, like, Disney-esque type stuff.
Yeah.
Where they have little tchotchkes that they're selling for $27 a piece, but, of course, they place the little bubble wands in the middle of everything, so I have to buy them for my kids. I just get whamboozled every single time.
You gotta train your kids to be just like, you should be like, those bubbles are poisonous.
What?
They
You can't
wouldn't
teach 'em
care.
about poison bubbles?
Yeah, they'd be fine with that. Man. Like, I love poison bubbles. I'm going to go around and kill all the other kids so I can get all the candy.
I feel like the most recent thing, and I believe I told you guys about it, was my running in with some punk kids at a fair recently, and they were cutting us in line everywhere we went. And I
But the
say
mom was
this,
there, too.
The mom
You
was
should have
there.
fought that mom.
Yeah,
I mean,
throw 'em
she
down.
was like 40 something.
Yeah, you could beat that woman's ass.
I mean, I don't know. She was running around with a bunch of punk kids, and she looked just like a punk mom too. You know what I
should
mean?
have just thrown some meth her way.
But
I'm sure
here's
it would
the
have
thing.
distracted her.
And she said, "Scat, go, scat, scat."
Scatter some bath salts.
The kids too. That's how crazy they were acting. But what would you guys have done? So, like, I mean, aside from, you're telling me to beat up this mom, but these kids they sensed us being the weak group. They kept cutting in front of us at every ride we tried to ride on, in front of us specifically. And I feel like I was being targeted.
Yeah, you got to beat down that mom, make an example out of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hit her in the face with a prison lunch pan.
Y'all got bail money for me if I get arrested?
Yeah,
and
hell,
start
if
beating up on
if
people?
you go
We
to
got plenty
jail
of
for
lawyers.
beating up on someone's mom because they're cutting you in line, you are damn right I'll bail you out for that. Is justified right there.
You have a collect call from wherever jail. Hey, Dave, can you pick me up? I got in a fist fight. For what? I was trying to ride that anti-gravity thing. I was getting cut by some punk kids.
I will be right there.
So I also feel like at fairs and carnivals and, these festivals, I loved them as a kid, obviously. Anytime your parents would take you to them, it was great. Back then, like, I think my parents would let me go because there was one in my kind of neighborhood area. They would, like, either drop me off or I would go with a friend's mom and they would drop us off.
Yeah.
Starting at like 3rd or 4th grade, like, we could just go on our own.
By yourselves.
And that was always
a little less methy back then. Yeah.
It was. I mean, obviously the carnies were still.
Or maybe we just had no idea.
No,
that could be it too.
We had no idea. I mean, there was no one. You didn't even have a cell phone to call anybody. It seems more dangerous.
Yeah, you had to pick. Well, you just walk. We would walk to our friend's house who lived closest there. Then our parents would come pick us up, or they would take us. But that was when we were young. I remember, like, once you hit like 13, 14 years old, right around in that, like, basically middle school area, 12, 13, 14 and on, it wasn't even about every carnival you went to. It felt like you were getting ready to fight somebody.
No, yeah, you were there
testosterone was peaking
to cause trouble. Like, I mean, once I got to that 14, 15 years old range, like, you went there because you wanted to be mischievous.
You knew
it's
you
not
were
even
gonna
that.
see
It's
the
like I always
person.
knew that there was going to be somebody who didn't like me, and that there was always
How many enemies did you have growing up?
I feel like you didn't have a bunch of enemies growing up.
Did you fist fight a lot?
No, there was just like a couple of guys who were wankers. Otherwise, everyone was pretty good.
And I feel like you fought him once.
Yeah.
Like, and then it was done,
years.
and then you
no,
were like,
you fight something like it was in the way we grew up. It's
Like, it was like that chicken from Family Guy where it was just like every time you saw each other, just instantly
for
fighting.
years.
Really?
Like, I'm not going to forgive you after we got into a fight. Like, I hate you forever. We are 30 years past that now, and there are still Lloyd Winchgen, you piece of garbage. I still hate you. Lloyd.
What was his last name?
How many times were you held back, Lloyd? You dummy.
Why you got to bring up that, man?
Because that's right.
Wow.
Lloyd.
So you guys just got in like a
He was like 38
every
when
once
we
in a
were
while
in middle
fight?
school. He drove to middle school. They had to find a parking space for this dude in middle school. I was 12 years old and you were 16.
He had to worry about registering his car.
Yes.
That's why you're so angry, man.
He
This
had a kid
registration
my
fee.
age.
Follow the Dave and Mahoney Morning Show on social media at Dave and Mahoney.
So, talking about your weird experiences that you've had at carnivals, theme parks, or fairs, and Mahoney, of course, talking about fighting Lloyd at every carnival that he ever went to. Lloyd was always there, ready to fight.
He was always trying to fight us. Always.
Rachel on Facebook said got stuck on Splash Mountain at Disneyland when we were going up the small hill. After waiting for a long time, we eventually got escorted off the ride and led through the back area where the cast members go. And behind the scenes, not quite as magical.
See, you say that, and I agree. It's like you're walking down like these weird hallways because, I go to Disney on a pretty regular basis, and I've ridden all these rides, 1,000 times. I kind of like it when it does get stopped. I got stopped on a couple of them, and then you do get to see like the behind the scenes.
You like that?
Well, you get to see something you don't normally see. And yes, it's not nearly as magical and awesome, but it's different. So I kind of like when that happens. I've gotten stuck on Cars, the Incredicoaster, the Haunted Mansion, never on Splash Mountain, but like where you get to walk through the back, and it's kind of cool.
This one from Andy, texted over to us to 833-YO-DUMMY, said, growing up in Colorado, as a kid, I lived a couple of blocks away from the Colorado State Fairgrounds. One year, when the big fair came into town, I had snuck to the fair by myself, which wasn't really that unusual for me to do without my folks knowing, and I basically got kidnapped from the fairgrounds by my cranky old neighbor Arnold, and he took me home in his truck and told me to stay home. Didn't realize what he had done until years later.
He kidnapped you.
Like, unless your parents gave him a directive to take you home, like, why is some dude like, get in my truck, boy? Let me take you home.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
But also, he let him go, too.
Yeah.
Andy should feel a little self-conscious about that.
Yeah, like
why was I
why'd
not
you
good
let
enough?
go?
Yeah, what the hell, dude?
Yeah,
Hell,
yeah.
Arnie.
Do I not make a good kidnapping victim? Hello.
I'm right here. Literally,
Hello.
I'm in the car.
Did you guys not love it though when you would be walking places and then like your friend's mom or dad would see you like walking on the street and they would pick you up and take you to wherever you were going?
I don't feel like that ever happened to me. Maybe I was a stinky kid. I don't know.
Really? That was like I'd be walking home from school, from like high school. Like if I missed the bus or whatever for whatever reason, I was just walking that day. And I felt like it always happened. It was like, and I always felt so lucky. I was like, oh, this is great.
Jamie said I have a lot of good ones, but the top two, my fear for clowns, I know exactly where it came from. When I was 4 years old, a clown threw peanuts at me and laughed at me, and I was horrified. My parents found it was funny. Hated clowns ever since. And at age 10, I was on the zipper ride, and I screamed so loud and drastically they actually stopped the ride and let me off. I mean, that's something.
You must have been blood curdle screaming.
Yeah, you scared of Carney.
As far as the Carney rides that are out there, I mean, the zipper is the worst, right?
Oh, no, the Gravitron or the spin around things are the worst.
Oh, yeah, I did those.
The one that just it looks like a flying saucer kind of that just goes around. Yeah, see, those are bad. But, I mean, the zipper is just a vomit-inducing machine.
So's the other one,
But
though.
the vomit stays in the zipper. It's
But
a
it stays
small
on the
container.
other one. If you throw up on the Gravitron, it goes out and then comes back
puking?
in.
Does it really? Have you
Who
thrown
was
up on a
puking?
No,
Gravitron?
I've seen that happen, though.
With your
and
own
it was
2 eyes?
horrifying. No, it was at Six Flags, Mid-America, and I saw that happen. I've thrown up I've never thrown up directly on a ride, but I did, I rode this thing called the Screaming Eagle, which was like their wooden roller coaster, which as an adult, shout out to my dad for taking me on this thing, because anybody over the age of 25 who rides that, you are ending up with severe back problems. Wooden roller coasters are the absolute worst for your back. And I remember they had turned the cars around backwards, so that was the big selling point of the summer. And I had just eaten like a bunch of popcorn and cotton candy and like a corn dog.
Well, that's on you.
And
then,
I was
not
like,
on the ride.
well, I was like 11 years old, and my dad and my mom were divorced, so he was, trying to.
He was making you feel better for
Anything
their
I
divorce.
wanted, he was buying that day.
Hey
and then,
kid, can I soothe your broken heart for your parents never being together again with some cotton candy?
They had been divorced like 7 years at this
Yeah,
point.
like,
I
I'll
was like,
buy your affection. Come on, we only got 2 hours. Let's go.
yeah. But I remember distinctly getting off that and feeling dizzy. And I think it was like I was going into a diabetic coma from all the sugar that I'd eaten, and just yakking all over the pavement right in front. And then my dad was like, "I'm gonna take you home to your mom now."
The David Mahoney Morning Show, every weekday morning from 6 to 10.
So have you ever had a weird or scary experience? Maybe it was a haunted attraction of some sort, a carnival, a festival, a fair. This one texted over to us to 833-YO-DUMMY, said, years ago at an Italian festival, I hit my head so hard getting out of the ring of fire that they had to take me to the emergency room with a concussion.
What's the ring of fire?
I don't know. Is that
I
a
think
ride?
It's got to be something that spins you around 1,000 times, right?
And they're certainly not paying their ASCAP BMI fees to play some Johnny Cash during that either.
Renee said, I got stuck on the Stratosphere ride about a decade ago for about 2 hours. We were tilted forward looking off the building. So if you've never seen on the top of the Stratosphere, which is 115 stories up, something like that.
It's a very tall building,
enormous.
yes.
They have the rides up there, and they have the one that shoots you straight up and down, like you see at a whole bunch of carnivals.
Yeah, like
and
the
that's-
one shot that they usually call it or something
scary,
like that.
but it's not that bad.
No.
The one that's scary is the one that dangles over the side. And Renee's talking about getting stuck for a couple of hours. Do you remember, it was a handful of years ago now, Mahoney, but there was a group of Japanese tourists which were stuck dangling off the side of the Stratosphere for like 14 hours.
No way.
It broke and they got stuck there for like a whole day.
Starting to think that you're going to die, right? Like 14 hours, I would have been like, this is it. I'm going to be stuck out here for forever. I'm never going to see my family again. And it's going to be at the Strat.
Audrey, tell me if you relate to this. Jessica said it was pretty scary. I was about 15, 16 years old, and we were at Knott's Scary Farm, and I'm not a big roller coaster fan, so my family, they went on the ride. I was walking around and waiting, and I found a table outside of one of the stores, and I noticed a guy I had seen before, and he was kind of creeping me out, so I was thinking that maybe he'd be gone when I came out, but then he wasn't, and I went to another shop, and then he was waiting outside again. So I started to freak out, thinking maybe I was just being dumb. So I went back to sit down at one of the tables, and he kept lingering around, getting closer each time. Finally, one of the scary characters comes up and starts scaring the S out of me, and he told me that he had noticed the guy following me, so he had walked back into the closest, or told me to walk back into the closest store and stay there until my people came back, and he went to scare the guy off, kept bugging him until he left. It was definitely a strange, creepy experience.
Shout out to that actor for being aware of what's going on.
100%.
The MVZ, the most valuable zombie.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Did you guys have you had to, because your oldest daughter is 5.
Mm-hmm.
Have you taken her to any haunted houses yet? Have you traumatized
No, man.
your children yet?
We've been to a couple of the fall festivals that have the haunted attractions, and we just walk by them, and she sees the people outside with the chainsaw with no chain on it, and that's enough.
And then your middle daughter, does she run straight to him?
Bring it on.
Maybe they're having some kind of transmitting trouble. Why don't we phone the station?
Got a comment, complaint, or opinion for the Dave and Mahoney Morning Show? Leave the good stuff on our voicemail. 833-YO-DUMMY. Again, 833-YO-DUMMY.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Okay, I want to know, what would be your reaction if you found out your partner that you're with did adult movies in the past, but they are just now telling you?
Message deleted.
Look, I think it would be problematic if you were intentionally hiding anything. That is obviously everyone's got a past, and what you do and stuff. Adult movies, it depends. If you hooked up with somebody and you guys made some tape or whatever. That's, I feel like, kind of normal.
No, but on the internet.
But if it's on the internet and anyone can look it up, and that's hey, we're married now, we've got 3 kids, and by the way, I used to be a porn star. I'd be like, what the hell, man?
Whatever.
Give me a heads up.
Yeah,
you say whatever, but yeah. Now imagine your wife did that to you.
Well, she wouldn't.
Exactly.
It would be me for her.
Yeah.
If anybody, it'd be and we don't know. Maybe that video out there exists.
I don't think any of us like surprises like that, but especially if you're in a serious relationship or you're married or whatever.
Let's flip this though for us.
Yeah.
Your wife and my wife find out that not we have a tape
You and I have a sex tape together?
It's the worst.
It's been on the internet for 10 years and no one has watched it. Hasn't gotten a single click.
Mahoney cannot drive a boat with that thing. Not at all. Crash the boat.
They call it a dinghy for a reason.
And I am no Pam Anderson.
Do you think? Because I think my wife would just laugh. I think she would just be like, "God, you're an idiot." 1,000%.
Do you have sex tapes out there?
So, do we not remember that story that I told many years ago about, like, I had one that I had made many years before, and I labeled it on, like, back. This is like back on DVDs.
On a DVD, and then you mixed it in with your Pride DVDs.
And I donated them.
Former Fighting League. And so somebody out there, if you got a Pride DVD from Goodwill, where did you donate it to?
Yeah, but like it was a big giant stack of them. So I mean, there was like literally hundreds of them.
They're like, I want to go back and watch an old Vandelay Silva
Well,
file. They
weren't even properly labeled, which because I had forgotten how, like, you know, what I had labeled this as, and then, you know, so that could still exist and pop up at some point.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, Audrey, you'd be pretty upset if you found out your husband was a porn star and didn't tell you, right?
100%.
Well, it's not a porn. There's a difference between being a porn star and having a tape link.
This person was talking about, I mean, again, if there's like a tape out there that like you made and then some jealous ex leaked it, that's different.
I think, well, if I was a porn star, my wife would accept it. I think Ian's girlfriend would.
She's probably would be the most accepting.
Would accept it as well. Dave, I think your wife would probably laugh.
Yeah,
as well, and you know, but I don't think it would cause the end of any of ours relationships.
I don't know. I think
if you
that
found
if
out
my
your husband,
if I found out
porn star.
husband was a porn star,
what if he just
and
did a couple
tell you?
Well, just a couple
8
videos.
Years in,
couple videos.
That would be a point of contention. I feel like we would have to have a discussion about why he felt it to be necessary.
Maybe he just forgot about
it. I think all of us
in my 20s
certainly
I don't remember.
Understand and appreciate the fact that all of our significant others have a past. Like, that's just how life works, right?
Tell me from the jump.
But don't surprise me with, hey, at any point, somebody can go online and see you having sex with somebody else. That's a problem.
At this point, I feel like, I don't know, like it's just different now, you know? Like, if I were to become single, and then, like, I feel like I'm okay with anybody. Hey, you rock your OnlyFans, you rock your whatever, your income
You're so
sources.
full of it. You're such a liar.
I would not be okay with Andrew having an OnlyFans.
You're telling me you'd be fine with your wife having an OnlyFans?
Well, it wouldn't be my wife.
No,
I'm
right
saying
now,
my
your
wife left me.
No, I'm saying right now, if your wife, while you were married.
Well, she can't because she's got a real job.
Let's say she didn't have a real job. She made so much money on her OnlyFans showing her beehole to the world.
Whatever, man. If she's going to support me, whatever.
You're so full of it.
You're
so full of it. You talk such a such a big game. You're a liar.
You are such a liar.
I would love to be a taken man, or a man who is taken care of.
It is okay to be pro OnlyFans and not want whoever you're with to be a part of that.
But I feel like I feel like
everyone else.
I feel like less and less. I like now. I don't. It matters less and less to me. It really does.
You're such a liar.
I'm not.
Man,
I've
seen
you after
to say
2
that
drinks.
you don't want to date somebody who. It is okay to be the anti of wanting that for yourself. That's not a bad thing
but you're
to say.
over here telling me how I feel, and I'm telling you this is how I feel. I would be okay with it.
You would be okay with your wife having an OnlyFans
if that's what she really wanted to do, and that's how she supported herself. You do you, man. Like, I don't care at this point. Like, she obviously has bad taste in dudes. She's with me. It's like there's plenty of like good-looking, successful guys who are out there who are always spitting game, and she's with me. So I'm like, it's like it's taken not. In my 20s it would have been different, but now that I'm a more mature man, and I'm way more secure with that.
What I think is funny is that we actually think that we wouldn't have noticed our significant other's porn tapes before. Like, we are all scrolling through porn at a ridiculous amount.
Okay, I recognize that, Grundle.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Worst moving trip ever. We lived in Reno when I was a teenager for about a year. In order for my mom to get back on her feet, we went to live with my grandparents in Kentucky. Mom had a big piece of crap Pontiac Starfire stick shift, and the starter was bum on it. So every time that car stalled or was turned off, we had this big U-Haul trailer on the back of it. I would have to undo the U-Haul trailer from the car, push the car by myself through the mountains to pop the clutch. And like I said, we went from Reno, Nevada to Louisville, Kentucky.
Message deleted.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty long trek if you're having to pop the clutch every time that you stop.
especially like if you're going through, I assume if you're leaving from Reno going to Louisville, you're going through the Rockies.
Yeah.
Which is got to be tough. But I'm looking, I wasn't sure what a Oldsmobile Starfire was. These are cool ass looking cars. I mean, but not like a car you would imagine pulling a trailer. I mean, they're cool now in like retrospect, like because of the vintage aspect of it. But, but like maybe in the 80s or 90s.
Update the Pontiac Sunfire, still not cool.
Never. That will never be a classic rod.
Oof.
Let's get to the news. It's top stories.
So I didn't even know that Bill Clinton was in the hospital, but Bill Clinton was in the hospital, and he got released yesterday. It was at the University of California Irvine Medical Center. He's 75 years old, former president, has been in the hospital since Tuesday, and had a urological infection that spread to his bloodstream. He had a fever, white blood cell count. He got normalized, so he got released from the hospital.
They're saying
So
it was non-COVID related.
Non-COVID related, but
He's 75 years old, man.
Colin Powell died over the weekend from COVID.
Like not over the like yesterday.
Yeah,
like late tonight.
I walked in this morning and had no idea that Colin Powell had passed away, and sure enough, it was because of COVID. I don't know if he was vaccinated or not.
He was fully vaccinated. He was 84 years old. So I mean, obviously,
still dangerous at that age. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. It 100% is. And he has joined the late great Storm and Norman Schwarzkopf in that big desert storm in the sky.
Mahoney, since we even talked last hour, the line for Monday Night Football has moved, where the Buffalo Bills are now 6 to 6.5 point favorites. So if you want to bet on the Bills before it gets to 7, this may be the time to do it. Total is at 53.5 or 54, depending on where you look. But the game tonight, Buffalo Bills on the road taking on the Tennessee Titans in Nashville, and the Bills are less than a touchdown
I feel
favorite.
like it's going to be a good Monday night game, though.
Man, I sure hope so. Tennessee has just been all over the place this year, so I'm hoping for a good game tonight. And haven't placed a bet yet, but I'm.
I mean, you won big over the weekend, so why don't you just like not bet and just roll it into next week?
Because I got money in my account, so I got to spend it.
Where are you leaning? What are you thinking?
I mean, I lean towards the Bills at less than a touchdown. You know, if it gets to 7, I'd say I would pass on that, but less than a touchdown, I'd be interested in the Bills, especially considering what they did last week, right?
Do you remember back in the 90s when the Bills made it to 4 Super Bowls in a row?
And then didn't win any of them?
Is there anything more heartbreaking? Have we heard anything more like heartbreaking in professional sports in America?
That's about as bad as it gets. Like, don't even get to the Super Bowl.
I loved as a kid. You know, there were a couple of quarterbacks who were phenomenal, and Montana was considered to be the GOAT at the time.
Marino, Montana,
but Montana was the one who was winning Super Bowls. Sure. Marino had the arm, Elway had the arm, but Jim Kelly just couldn't to make it to 4 Super Bowls in a row in any era is damn near impossible.
Unbelievable,
and to lose all
to lose all of them,
and a couple by just like missed field goals.
Yeah. It was like they would self-sabotage, right? It's like Chael Sonnen, gets into these huge fights, is kicking ass, and then for whatever reason it gets down to the final minute and gets choked out.
Yeah.
Happens every time. So Halloween crushed to the box office this weekend. The Last Duel, the one with Ben Affleck that was written by him and Matt Damon, not so much.
Oh,
so,
really?
Was that rated well?
Let
me look.
So Halloween, $50 million over the weekend.
That's almost as much as Bond did.
So Bond this weekend, I mean, on opening weekend you're talking about, Bond did about half that, $24.5 million this weekend.
I liked the new Bond. I saw it in theaters. And I will say, I was not a movie theater gal before. And going, I don't know if it's part of the nostalgia of it or the fact that it's just so empty right now.
So the new Halloween, new Halloween movie not being loved by critics. But the audience is at 71%. Critics are at 39%. But a $50 million opening.
And they're saying that it's generally a lot of younger people. 73% of people that bought tickets for Halloween were 35 and younger.
Yeah.
The Last Duel, on the other hand, pretty well reviewed. 87% by the critics, 79% from the audience.
Man, it made $1.9 million on Friday. They said the total weekend haul, $4.5 million.
I don't feel like there's been a lot of advertising.
I've only seen one commercial for it.
I only have seen stuff on on Twitter for that movie. And, we look at like a lot of Hollywood trades every single day. I did watch a movie called Old Henry over the weekend, and I was blown away by how good it was. Stephen Dorff, Trace Atkins.
Oh, okay.
Trace Atkins, the country singer?
Yes.
Wow.
You're going to miss this.
He was in it, and...
You're going to want this back.
You're going down,
Going too fast.
The Dave and Mahoney Morning Show presents
Are You Smarter Than a Community College Dropout?
Are You Smarter Than a Community College Dropout is a very simple game. Mahoney famously dropped out of not one, not two, but 3 different community colleges. Didn't bother getting a degree because he knew what he wanted to do in this life, and it was to get on the radio and entertain you every day.
I was just trying to meet girls at different schools.
Yeah.
This is before online dating, so that's the only place you could really go at the time when you were like 19, 20 years old.
Even though you dropped out of a bunch of community colleges, you do harbor a decent amount of useless trivia. So
useless. You say useless. I say essential, Dave. These are the things that have gotten me through my day-to-day life for the last 20 years.
Okay. So you're going to leave the room, go to a soundproof studio across the way where you cannot hear. Audrey, you're going to be asked the questions first. You have foregone one of your lifelines, and you've just decided that you're going to go with a simple pass.
Because everybody
which is the same.
freaks out whenever I ask for a secondary help.
I don't
But mean,
think
it's
that
fair.
you've won a game since you gave up that additional
I
lifeline.
know,
but,
which is maybe telling. But I really am hoping, maybe for Mahoney's sake as well, that there is no geography questions and no math questions and no science questions, only pop trivia.
Okay, well, let's see.
Okay, let's go.
6 questions, 1 pass, should you choose to use it.
God.
How many days are in a leap year?
Oh, geez. All right. So we have 365 days in a year. So I'm going to say, does the leap year take away 2 days? Does it take away 1 day? I'm going to say 364 days in a leap year.
No. Other direction, 366.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go to question number 2. Since you like geography so much, what is the capital of Egypt?
Pass.
Okay, good pass. What would you have guessed? Anything?
Nothing. I got nothing.
Cairo.
Yeah, sure.
Question number 3. What is the study of stars, planets, and galaxies called?
Astronomy.
Yeah, there you go. 1. You have 1.
I almost said astrology.
You got 3 more to go. Which Axis leader was overthrown and arrested in July of 1943?
So, may I ask, what is an Axis leader?
So there was the Axis and there was the Allies. When it comes to World War II, he was a bad guy, overthrown and arrested in July of 1943.
Okay, so my question is, who was overthrown in 1943?
Overthrown and arrested in July of 1943.
Hitler?
Nope.
Mussolini?
Yeah.
No!
Yes.
Yeah, because Hitler, he killed himself.
Yeah, he did not get arrested. Mussolini also did not have a great ending. Here we go on to question number 5. What majestic mountain range is found in Switzerland?
The Alps.
Yeah. I like how you put a question mark at the end of a lot of your answers.
Yes, because I am uncertain as F.
What is the meaning of the prefix poly?
Poly means many.
Yes, it does. Got 3 out of 5. Okay, not bad. Kind of pulled it together there at the end.
Man.
Kind of.
Man. Ugh.
Mahoney is re-entering the room right now. He's got his coffee in hand. Are you ready, Mahoney?
Let's go.
Okay. Mask off. And question number 1, how many days are in a leap year?
366.
On the board.
Oh,
just
this
like
isn't
that.
going to go well.
What is the capital of Egypt? You do have a pass if you want to use it.
Cairo.
Oh, this isn't going to go well.
That is 2 correct. Question number 3, what is the study of stars, planets, and galaxies called?
Astronomy.
Oh, God.
That is 3 correct. Question number 4, which Axis leader was overthrown and arrested in July of 1943?
Mussolini.
Mussolini, that is 4 correct. You have 2 questions remaining. You do have 1 pass. What majestic mountain range is found in Switzerland?
The Andes.
Phew.
No? Oh.
The Alps.
I knew it was an A.
You got 4
I
of
was
those.
thinking of those mints. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, those mints are
From
delicious. Yeah, they're good. You win.
Shout out to Andy's Mints.
Yeah, those tasty little things.
Dude, the only reason to go to Olive Garden is for the breadsticks and the mints.
And 2 huge handfuls of those mints on the way out the door. Like, just, go ahead and leave the bowl up front. See what happens.
One of the best gifts I ever got as a young man, I think I was 19 years old, my best friend bought me 2 whole things of Andy's mints, and I
Really?
ate them all.
Oh, man.
She bought me 2 things of those and a whole giant bag of fortune cookies. It was like the greatest stupid gift I've ever got in my life.
And she got you another gift as well, early onset diabetes.
Dave and Mahoney every weekday morning from 6 to 10.
Man, we are having so many conversations in the studio this morning about being borderline like hypochondriac. Are we all kind of, do we get too into our own heads when it comes to sickness? I mean, Mahoney, we talked about how you thought you were dying because you had a corn kernel stuck in your tooth last weekend.
My wife freaked me out on that.
But Ian thought he was for sure dying on Friday. He had to go run out and get a rapid COVID test, and turns out he was just being a bitch.
No,
dude.
he wasn't. That's the smart thing to do.
Dave, if you want to demasculate me, that's fine. It's okay.
Did you check in on Ian? Because
okay?
you know who checked in on Ian?
That guy did.
This guy
That
did.
guy did.
I was concerned because Ian and I.
And then Dave called me the B word. How demeaning
We've
is
worked.
that?
Ian, you and I have worked together.
No, why
before.
is he always doing that manly thing with me? Like, I'm trying to be a little feminine here, trying to bring a different perspective, but then Dave has to.
You're trying to be a
lowball
little feminine?
like bitch. Like, really, dude? I didn't feel good. Relax.
You were talking about being all sweaty.
I was extreme. Dave,
I
don't
know
get
you were
sick
being all
very often.
sweaty. I was joking with you, and you're over here crying,
now
acting
I'm
like
crying.
a bitch.
Now I'm crying.
Yes.
Dave, please.
So Ian and
Third-rate
I,
feminism
we've all worked with Ian for 4 years, and in those 4 years, I don't
I'm
know.
so
if,
sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings,
Oh
Ian. Are
my
you okay?
God. When has he
Are you
I'm
okay?
fine.
No, you're fine.
Oh
yeah.
my God, I showed up, Dave, but still, you constantly
When
have
you
to
show
do
up
that.
every
When does he
day.
ever bitch about being sick? That's
Thank
the thing.
you.
That's why I was actually concerned about Ian
I
being
was
sick.
legitimately sick, and I'm sorry. I had stuff to do for the show over the weekend that I was very concerned about.
Even when you are sick, you traditionally, pre-COVID times, you were like you've never called in actually sick to the show that I can recall in those 4 years.
I don't do that.
No,
Exactly.
and that's why I was very concerned about how Ian was feeling on Friday because he said even during the show it's like he was like I don't feel well and I'm like oh man that's not good.
I knew something was
it must
up.
be something serious. He's not the boy who cried wolf and is like oh I don't feel good today. So when he says it has impact.
And I skipped the beer too, which was the clear indication that something was going on with me. But you're right, I did get paranoid, super paranoid after that because then I'm thinking COVID. Now I'm thinking, oh crap, I have a baby on the way. What happens if I pull a Mahoney? And
You
next
could
thing I know,
murder
I'm in
me.
the hospital for like 3 months.
Don't murder me, please.
You would have been fine.
Oh, well, I hope not.
Well, he was fine.
I was
right?
fine. Look
Yeah.
at me. I'm still saying it. Yes.
But I mean, do you feel like because of everything that's been going on for the past year and a half that you're more paranoid?
I'm 100% going to the doctor when I feel sick in any way, shape, or form after this last year. Because it could have killed me. I waited 10, 11 days when I originally had COVID. And even then, I was mostly hesitant to go to the hospital. I was like, oh, I'll push through this. And the only reason I didn't fight is because my wife basically drugged my ass to the hospital on day 11 when my blood oxygen was in the 80s. And thank goodness, because good chance wouldn't have made it had I just kept pushing it out.
I mean, do you feel like if your wife wasn't in your life, though, making you go to the doctor when you don't feel well, that you still would?
Now, yes.
Yeah.
After that, I feel like you have a serious health scare. Then that opens your eyes like, oh, maybe I'm not invincible. Maybe I'm not
I just hate
Superman.
going to the doctor so much.
Yes,
and
but
I just finally got a new doctor, and then he either got fired or quit or something. I got like a message from the.
Are you talking about the guy I sent you to a couple years ago?
No, I
or
don't
is it
think
another
so.
one?
No, it's a different guy. Because the guy you sent
He was
me to
great.
a couple of years ago, he was terrible.
No, he was the best.
Every time that I went in there, he wanted to have an hour and a half long conversation about just life.
Well, and how you're feeling and everything about you.
I'm fine. Can you just check my nuts and let me leave?
Maybe he likes a little bit of foreplay, Dave.
Maybe so. But yeah, no, I mean, I still hate going.
Where did
to,
your new
go to
doctor
that.
go to?
He just disappeared. I just got a letter in the mail saying that he was just gone. But the same thing. My wife's like, yeah, you got to get your
you
blood
have
tested.
3 kids and another one on the way.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like it's pretty normal. I mean, like going to the doctor every year or whatever, I feel like for guys doesn't happen as often. I feel like you two are an outlier here, like especially because you just had a health scare. Before that, were you going quarterly? Yeah,
I didn't go to the dentist for a decade. The only reason I went to a dentist, it was been about 10 years ago, because I like in my 20s. I didn't go from like 20 to 30, essentially. And the only reason I started going to a dentist again was because I became friends with a dentist.
Yeah.
And he was like,
but then he quit on you too. What's with all of our medical providers just leaving?
That wasn't his fault. His dentistry, Smiles for Life, is still there. But he's becoming a lawyer now.
Did you just plug his dentist practice? Do you get like 30% off cleaning or something?
Yeah, use promo code Mahoney. Get your teeth cleaned.
We've been looking for you.
I bet. Who's Got the Warrant?
So normally, Who's Got the Warrant? It's just Ian hitting the streets, talking to people that are sometimes in a dicey part of town, and it's fairly easy to find somebody who's got a warrant. But a bit different today, Mahoney. In fact, the Renaissance Festival has been going on, and so Ian decided that he was going to venture out. And man, the characters that you run into at a Renaissance Festival, hard to compare side by side, I imagine, to the people that you see out and about for Who's Got the Warrant. But man, still interesting, fascinating.
It is night and day at the Renaissance Festival. Yet again, I believe this is my third year I've been at the Renaissance Festival, and today, instead of Who's Got the Warrant, we're doing Who's Had Any Interaction with Police Whatsoever, maybe even an arrest.
Instead of warrants, Ian, they have a crudely drawn wanted posters that are being sung out by the town crier.
$25,000, yes.
Yeah. 25,000 coins.
So we have three different individuals that Ian talked to today. We have somebody named London, somebody named Sean, and we also have Magic Man. Only one of them has had an interaction, a meaningful interaction with law enforcement.
Now, any interaction is what I was looking for with police, whether it be maybe a parking ticket, maybe you were at a party. Well, actually, these are all nerds. They never went to parties. But, maybe open carrying a sword, possibly.
Yeah,
any interaction whatsoever is what we're looking for here in today's Who's Got the Warrant. And all three of these particular gentlemen seem like they've never even seen a police officer in real life.
Who's wanted by the magistrate?
So we're trying to figure this out together, so feel free to weigh in, 833-YO-DUMMY. If you want to call or text us, you can do so anytime. We are in the dark here, so we are trying to figure this out together. Let's meet our first contestant in Who Has the Law Enforcement Interaction? Okay.
All right, we're here at the Ren Fair, and we are playing Who Has the Simple Arrest. Now, do you want to give your name?
London, like the city.
London, like the city. Okay, London, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you? What do you do for a living? Are you single, married, divorced?
I'm 21. I work at Taco Bell as a manager, and I am single.
You're managing Taco Bell. All right, another question. What's your favorite Taco Bell menu item?
I hate our food. It's so bad.
Wow, okay. All right, this is going to be a tough one then. So are your parents still together, and then were you a troublemaker growing up?
Divorced parents. I got into some trouble and never got caught.
So there's a couple of things in there that struck me. One, he's a manager at a Taco Bell. I feel like you have to have a fairly clean background in order to be a manager at a Taco Bell. He's only 21, so he's pretty young.
He's a wonder kid.
And then at the end there, he did say that he did some stuff but never got caught.
How dare he blaspheme the chalupa from Taco Bell?
He said he thinks their food is terrible.
I was very surprised by that answer.
Yeah,
especially to be managing a Taco Bell, to be slaying, that food.
A cheesy gordita crunch?
Not even like one item?
Little cinnamon sticks? So parents are divorced.
Doesn't strike me as the type that would have had
he said he did get in trouble.
Yeah, but he said that he caused some trouble but never got caught.
Oh,
so skirted it.
So, yeah.
Okay, so
All
he's
right,
a maybe. He's a maybe.
Maybe.
Let's hear these other.
Here we go on to contestant number 2.
I am carrying a very large weapon, so...
Wait, is that the right one? Yeah, okay, good.
I had to think about it.
That thing is huge. Where did you get that?
Actually, here at the Ren Fair.
How much was this, 5-foot sword that you're carrying?
A really good deal today was $60. Normally, they go for like $100 online.
We're playing Who's Got the Simple Arrest. Do you want to give your name?
Sean.
Sean, you got the chainmail on. What's in that bottle there? Is that mead?
I wish. It's root beer.
Just a couple questions for you. How old are you? What do you do for a living? Are you single, married, divorced?
28. I work at a charity house, and I am in a relationship of 3 years.
Okay. Do you play golf?
If I could, I would.
Were you a troublemaker growing up?
I'd like to make jokes, so some would say yes.
There is no way Sean is 28, and if he is the that poor little man.
He's wearing chainmail, and can you describe the weapon that he was carrying that he described
like a
as large?
broadsword.
It was Thanos' sword.
It was?
the Thanos
He bought a replica Thanos sword at the Ren Fair.
So he's dressed as a knight, and he's rocking Thanos' sword.
It was very striking.
Wait, are you
Kyle
sure
made
it was
a comment that it wasn't root beer, it was virgin beer in his mug there.
Okay, don't be mean,
Hey,
Kyle.
come
Are you
on.
sure it was Thanos' sword, or was it the sword from Final Fantasy VII, which is very similar?
It was Thanos' sword.
You're sure on
I'm
that?
positive of
Okay.
that. Yes.
So
Does Sean strike you as somebody that may have had a run-in with the law?
Maybe. If
He sounds so, I mean,
Works
he
for a
just
charity
sounds...
house.
He's not like he hasn't hit puberty yet. Just say it.
Oh, guys, stop it.
So
Listen to
sensitive today.
Sean's voice. He
He's
does
a
not
lovely
sound like a
man.
28-year-old
Hey, he's
man.
in a 3-year-long relationship. Sean bangs.
Let's meet the final contestant, and I'll just let it I'll just let it lie.
All right, we're here at the Ye Old Ren Fair, and I've met a friend. How are you?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So the garb you have on, very wizardly.
This is part of my online streamer, actually, persona here for Twitch.
Oh, nice. It happened again. Okay. Jeez. I've wet myself like 3 times today because of those things. All right, so, all right, here, plug your Twitch. What's your Twitch?
It's Magic Man 68.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you? Are you single, married, divorced? What do you do for a living?
So I am 31. I'm actually here with my partner. And then for a living, it's operational work, HR stuff, payroll, that kind of stuff. Real boring desk job, you know.
Okay, are your parents still together?
Yes, they are.
Way cool.
Your parents.
Way cool.
Was that a cannon being fired in the background?
Yes.
What was
cannons.
going on?
Actual cannons.
Why?
At the Ren, I don't know, but they interrupted all of my interviews.
Oh.
So be prepared for the rest of the week.
I love it. That is definitely on brand with where you were at, Ian. I feel like that guy, for me personally, sounded like he had the most, I don't know, maybe he was at a party once upon a time and there was a cop that knocked on the door. Everyone else, if they had an interaction with the cop, it's because their dad was a cop.
I'm looking at Magic Man 68's Twitch feed
Everyone
right
wondering,
now.
was Magic Man 69 taken or something? Like, why would you go Magic Man 68?
We did discuss that. He did not really define why 68 is in
Just
the
went
name.
with 68,
I told him
huh?
as a 69, or why didn't you just go with 69? And he kind of looked at me bewildered.
So maybe he's just not sexual. Maybe he just really likes the number 68. You know, maybe it was his number in high school. And
Maybe he was born in 68.
He was not. He's 31 years old. But I'm looking at his Twitch.
Maybe his mom was born in 68.
twitch.tv/MagicMan68. Big wizard hat, big beard.
Huge wizard hat, massive beard.
Big ass wizard hat. I do not think Magic Man 68 has had any interactions with the law.
Who did? You think Sean?
I feel
28, possibly, maybe 16?
I think it's the most unlikely of the bunch. I think it's the guy who's walking around with a weapon out in public. I feel like that is the guy.
Okay, well, can we all agree that the first guy, London, did not strike? I mean, a 21 manager of Taco Bell said he'd done some things but never got in trouble. I think that we eliminate him.
Sure. I mean, he's one of my.
He's the number 2 on my list.
He is the number 2 on my list.
He's the number 2 on my list.
I'm telling
Do you want to eliminate Magic Man? Magic Man 68
no,
first?
I think Magic Man has it.
So I think that Sean, walking around with a sword, the chainmail, there may be something there. I don't know.
I mean, he's here besmirching the good name of Taco Bell, so I don't know if I could trust
we
this
have to
gentleman.
eliminate one.
Or maybe, or we can all just say who we think it is, because I think it's Magic Man.
You think it's Magic Man?
I think there's a red herring. I think it's
Sean?
I think it's Sean
then
walking
who
around
do
with a
you think
Thanos
it
sword.
is?
No, I think it's Sean too.
Okay,
yeah.
You do? Okay, so then sure. Eliminate number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So let's see. London, has he had a simple arrest or interaction with law enforcement?
Have you ever had any interaction with police whatsoever? Like, have you ever been arrested?
Nah.
Yeah, all right, good. Nah.
Number 2 on my list for a reason.
So it comes down to Magic Man 68 and Sean, who was walking around with the root beer, the chainmail, and the Thanos sword.
I mean, this dude's strapped.
Man.
He's strapped. And he's
Tough
got
one.
body armor on.
God, it might be Magic Man, though.
I don't know.
Can you hold up your computer so I can see what this guy looks like? I mean, does he have like a Gandalf thing?
Yes.
You say he's got like the wizard hat and the beard and the...
To describe him more, Dave, he was wearing a crystal necklace when I approached him as well. And he did.
that guy's... He's been arrested for sure. Anyway, so we have to make a decision here, you guys. Which one do you suppose it is?
I'm going with Sean.
You think it's Sean?
Even though he's the younger of the bunch, he's carrying around a sword and he's wearing full-blown chainmail. So I think he's prepared for anything.
We are pretty tied in chat, twitch.tv/David Mahoney, about almost 50-50 between Sean and Magic Man, which does not help me decide on my answer at all. I think that I'm going to stick with my gut instinct for Magic Man 60, almost 9.
I think I'm going to go with you after seeing... I mean, I haven't seen Sean because we don't have a video of him, but we do have video of Magic Man, and it looks like there might be a pass there. He was only 28, huh? Did you say he was 28?
28.
28.
Well, we have to eliminate one of them.
We do.
I mean, do we go with mine first since I'm in the minority here with Sean?
Let's go Magic Man. Let's go ahead and find out that Audrey and I are right. Here we go.
Have you ever had any sort of interaction with police whatsoever? Have you even been arrested?
No, nobody's ever actually put some cuffs on me and thrown me in a car yet.
No. The finest,
You're
and most
right.
reputable wizards, can, they have no they're above the law. That's why the law does not mess with them, Dave. You should have known this in the first place. And once again, can I get my? You were right, Mahoney.
You were right, Mahoney.
Very
Let's
nice.
find out how right you were.
Well, here's the ultimate question. At any point in your life, have you had any sort of interaction with police or have been arrested?
I was out walking out past curfew, and I had to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom in a dark alley, and then I came out of the alley, and I was a 12-year-old kid coming out of a dark alley, and the cops were like, yeah, that's not normal. So they stopped me, and they gave me a ride home, and my parents were like, oh, my God. They were so embarrassed. I didn't tell the cops what I had done. I just, just was like, I'm going home. They're like, why are you in that alley? It was a shortcut.
Hardened criminal, like I said, Dave.
Badass.
I, for one, would be scared if I came across a man in chainmail and a Thanos sword in a dark alley.
Taking a tinkle in an alley, and the cops are going to give me a ride home.
Let's get to the news. It's top stories.
So the old saying, blondes have more fun, isn't necessarily true. There was a new survey done that discovered that redheads are actually the ones that are enjoying more romantic encounters, perhaps because they are in greater demand. The study's authors noted that women with red hair, up to 9% of European females, tend to be the subject of various stereotypes about being sexually liberated, and as a result, some of the societal pressures to not be that way tend to erode, and redheads do, in fact, have more fun.
Cool.
I feel like this is a weird study to make.
Right?
I feel like I don't know anybody who has looks a certain way and is predetermined to be whatever.
I do know that they are, I feel like you use the term greater demand, but I feel like there is definitely like a kink for redheads.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. I feel like, obviously, everybody has their types, but I feel like people definitely fetishize
redheads.
Well, there's also the saying
like steamy,
red on the head, good in bed. And
what? I've never heard of that.
You never heard that?
No.
Yeah, that's
Whoa, red on the head, good in bed.
Good in bed, yeah. Which is it really sucks if you're a redhead and you're terrible in bed, right? Because then there's like the expectation.
Well, okay, but what about, is this for men too? Because I feel like all of us are thinking of redheaded women. I personally, for me, I've never really like looked at a redheaded man and been like, that's it. That's the one that's going to totally be the steamy McSteamy in bed.
Right. Yeah. I mean, guys, I've known a lot of guys that have had a thing for redheads.
Women.
Right. Yeah, for women. And never have I heard a girl go, oh, God, that redheaded guy is just exactly what I'm looking for. But I also don't hear women talking about, like, specific things like that nearly
it's
as
usually
much.
They usually say tall, dark, and handsome is
right.
it's when you're or in good
the
shape. But when you're describing like hair,
helps,
or complexion or whatever it may be, it's always like the tall, dark, and handsome is the de facto on that. But I don't know. For me, it is my fetish for women is women who like me.
Yeah,
that is my kink. Hey, are you into me? Then I like you.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I could be.
Well, I feel like there's such
I don't think I can narrow it down. If I start excluding people in groups,
if you can
just other arbitrary reasons,
enthusiastically lie to me, you are my type.
Well, do you guys think, whenever going back to the redheads, do you guys think that there is such a spectrum for men that there isn't for women whenever it comes to like good-looking redheads?
I think.
Like, I feel like we generalize redheads as women being better looking, but for men, it's like. It's few and far in between.
Andrew Santino, who plays Mike on the FX series Dave, is he's a redheaded comedian. He's a attractive man, nice beard. But he said it that like redheaded men are the last group that you can like make fun of and not get in trouble for, like as far as that. And that is 100% true. Like,
well, you have the hair, like Prince Harry, who's handsome, and then you have Bill Burr. You have Louis C.K. You have Ed Sheeran.
Bill Burr doesn't even have hair anymore.
Ed Sheeran is like the most talented dude in the world, and still everyone's like, eh.
Isn't he tatted up too?
Do not look straight.
Doesn't Ed Sheeran
He's
have like neck down? Like I feel like he's got like a full chest piece.
Never seen him shirtless.
I saw like a shirtless. I mean, I felt a certain way when I saw some shirtless Ed Sheeran photos over the weekend.
I mean, Andy Dalton is a very handsome guy.
Super handsome.
Still, people are like, nah.
I'm Googling.
Crappy quarterback that used to play for the Bengals. Not interested.
I'm Googling shirtless Ed Sheeran right now. Let me pull this up. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Carrot Top, yeah.
Conor McGregor isn't a redhead. He just has a red beard.
He's more blonde, yeah.
Yeah.
No. Somebody said that Ed Sheeran looks like Ron Weasley if he had gone off the rails.
Oh man!
But I was not expecting Ed Sheeran to be as tatted up as he is. Like,
I mean, I
that
feel
shirtless
like
Ed
Oh,
Sheeran.
wow. Yeah, he's inked basically neck
Head to
down.
toe.
Yeah.
I mean, just neck down.
Sleeves all the way through, his whole chest.
Looks great.
I mean, he is so talented.
Oh, Ian with a obvious sex symbol that we're missing, Mark Davis.
Yep. True.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So pretty cool to choose this for somebody else.
I'd let him take me on a ride in that minivan.
Does he still drive the minivan?
Oh, would you really?
I'd love to get in a minivan. Take me back to my youth.
I feel like if you got in the minivan and said, take me back to my youth, there would be mixed messages,
Yeah,
man.
that'd be bad.
Got to be
The
careful.
NFL has enough going on right now, Mahoney. Please. Don't
The
do it.
Raiders have enough problems as it is. Let's not do that. All right.
Glitz, glamour, fame, scandal, weight loss tea. It's Pop Trash.
So I'm sure that you saw the news over the weekend that Travis Barker and Kourtney Kardashian are engaged. And, of course, the ring and the proposal were the most extra thing of all time.
Oh, whatever. Let them be in love.
Oh, they just, doesn't it feel like they're trying just
Of
way
course,
too
but
hard?
they are definitely infatuated with each other. I think they are a big, hot, steamy sex pot of
I feel like they're
everything.
just trying to emulate Megan Fox
But
and
better.
Machine Gun
No,
Kelly.
I think they're doing it better.
I don't think they are.
I think that Megan Fox and MGK,
I feel like-
everybody thinks that MGK is just this hot new item because Megan Fox is so hot. And I think that she is dressing him up like a baby doll in wigs and weird cosplay of Kurt Cobain. And it's fine. It's working for now. But whenever they finally get tired of each other,
I get
which
what-
they clearly are based off of their GQ interview, it's going to blow up in flames and everybody's going to forget about MGK.
I get why Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox are doing what they're doing. They're staying in the spotlight because, I mean, both of them, it's not like she's in giant action movies like every other week now. And his music career is, it is what it is.
Some ups and some downs, sure.
But the way, like staying in front of 13-year-olds and becoming popular that way. But I get that. But Travis Barker and Kourtney Kardashian, she's damn near a billionaire. And he's was one of the most iconic, punk rockers in the music world.
You're
And
using that term pretty loosely at this point.
yeah, I mean, but Blink-182
He's
is
producing
was
so much.
a
Yeah, but
huge band.
it's punk. It's punk for sale, right?
punk.
Which is like
That's pop
the
punk.
yeah. But I mean,
But that's what
yeah.
Blink was.
No,
they were
it's not.
radio play. If you are
Eh.
pop punk and radio play, you are not.
Blink 182 and what they used to do, I feel is very different from what he's doing now.
For
where-
sure.
Well, he's not a part of Blink anymore.
Well, yeah, I know that's what I mean. But he's punk for sale, because he had some credibility when he was in Blink, and now it's just like
is he not in Blink anymore? I
I
thought
mean,
they just
it's-
not touring.
They're just not really. Obviously,
it's,
all the stuff
it's,
Mark's
it's
going
Mark,
through right
it's
now.
Mark, Travis, and then they got the guy from
The not Tom. Yeah.
the guy from
This
Alkaline Trio.
doesn't strike you. I mean, so they're a little
It's
bit
going to be
older,
for
right?
their Hulu special. So
You don't
there
think this is
go.
a little annoying when they post the video of them getting engaged and then she puts Kravis forever?
Oh, Kravis, because it's her. It's Kourtney
And
No,
Travis.
No, back up.
Okay.
No, but I do think that of all of the Kardashians, she really is the one who has had a bad run-in with love and romance. I mean, just sitting here thinking about Scott and all the things that he
What do you
put her
all
through.
of them have? Like Chloe was cheated on by every dude she ever was with. I feel so much worse for her.
Yeah, but she's back again with him.
I don't know. To me, it's just like the super over the top engagements. You do you for you, but I feel like when
They
you're
had
on, you're like
flowers on a beach with candles.
I mean,
And-
like
and film
3,000 roses. I
Okay,
mean,
Kanye. I think Kanye took Kim's entire house and put flowers all over it.
Yeah.
Like a few flowers on the beach is fine.
again, you guys, not a few flowers. That's probably $30,000.
But you have to understand that you're talking to a guy who literally didn't even get out of bed when he proposed. He made his now wife go get the ring herself out of his backpack.
But
talking about Mahoney.
I'm also saying for your like third marriage each or fourth marriage, whatever they're on, like that's a little extra.
I think that's just
Like let's just go
Kourtney's
to
second.
Hawaii and like
I think this will be Kourtney's second marriage.
and his like fourth.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything about his love life.
All I
but
remember is the
that
awful reality
ring-
show he had on MTV that was really embarrassing. I feel like all these reality shows are just very embarrassing.
So there is some good news if you are a fan of scripted movies and TV series. There was a late deal that was reached on Saturday averting a strike in the film and television world that would have seen some 60,000 behind-the-scenes workers walk off their jobs and basically would have frozen production in Hollywood and across the United States. So there's been a whole bunch of negotiations. Representatives from the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees and from the studios have decided that they are going to be able to reach, finally, a 3-year contract agreement before the deadline According to us, there was a number of setbacks, and so they really thought that a strike was going to happen. It is not going to happen. Everything is going to proceed forward because a deal has been reached.
I mean, this is good news because if we remember the last time I think Hollywood struck or went on strike was the fact when all these awful reality shows got greenlit and started becoming popular anyway. And I don't even want to think of what kind of weird mutation and what kind of monster we would get out of this next one.
Right.
Like they would find a way to just cheapen it all even more. I am so glad that we are kind of seeing a swing back from that with a lot of the shows on like HBO and Showtime.
We just got back to production on a lot of these shows after COVID and everything else. Let's not stop it again. We talked about Robert Durst, the guy who, killed his friend because she found out that he probably killed his wife all those years ago. He's going to die soon. So he's 78 years old. He looks terrible, but he's in the hospital, and they already had to put him on a ventilator for COVID stuff, and he got found guilty of murdering his friend.
Piece of garbage.
Yeah, see you never.
Hope you don't come back.
Adele's Easy on Me breaks a bunch of records for streaming, and you know what? Listen to it. It's good.
Audrey cried to it.
It's real good. Did you?
Oh,
did
yeah.
You sob to it?
Oh my gosh, I was folding my clothes. I closed the door, and I just put that song on like volume 10 with my Alexa. I was just weeping.
Really?
I mean,
how many times did you listen to it?
I was putting socks away with
Sobbing.
snot just dripping down my face.
There was a lot of people who were online who were doubting Adele's popularity. They're like, oh, they're like she's so over, and like they're going to learn that like these other pop stars are going to be way bigger than Adele, and it's like
no.
Adele is still one of the biggest music stars in the world for a good reason. She can sing like no other.
Yeah.
So
she's amazing, and she's done incredible things for her own health. She looks great. She's crushing it right now. They have a big special they're doing on CBS. The whole bit. Adele is awesome.
And I wonder, the question I think a lot of people had was if she was happy, is she going to be able to put out the same level of music as she was with the previous two?
The heartbreak, that always leads to good music.
We're getting the answers about her divorce in this. So she was writing through the heartbreak, and she is happy now, and I think that that's the closure she needed. Hence,
so we have to wait to see on the next album. We know this one's going to be fire.
This one's good because this was heartbreak, and that's why it's titled 30. She's not 30. This is all the things that she was going through in that phase and time of her life.
Interesting.
So, yeah, very interesting, and I cannot wait. The entire album is set to release like in November, I think, right? So we just have one single right now, and we're just like, it's being dangled in front of us for now.
Taste. They're giving us a taste. Next thing you know, we're full shooting up intravenously the Adele album.
I know. I need it straight to the veins.
And
Make
finally,
me cry.
I don't know why that Ryan Reynolds is taking a break out of all of the actors in Hollywood. Ryan Reynolds does great stuff. Free Guy just crushed it, and now he's decided that he is going to take a break. But he's doing that show, or the movie rather, with it's like the movie musical Spirited, which is holiday theme for Apple TV Plus. That's the one with Will Ferrell, right? So he's like singing and dancing, and
I haven't even heard of this.
Yeah, so it's going to be on Apple TV Plus.
Spirited, yes, they're filming that right now.
Yeah, so he said that after that he is going to take a break from acting, which is kind of a bummer.
Until Deadpool 3 comes out, and he's also, I think, producing a remake of Clue, which Clue
really?
is
cute.
One of my absolute favorite movies of all time. There's a couple actors out there who I don't think you can replicate. Gene Wilder being one of them, Tim Curry being the other, but somebody like Ryan Reynolds in Clue does give me I don't think
is he going to be in it, or he's just producing it?
It says he's going to act in it, so I have to imagine he's going to be playing a similar character to what Tim Curry is.
Like, out of all of the people that are going to take a break, like why couldn't it be Pete Davidson that takes a break instead of Ryan Reynolds?
I thought we had turned the page on
We're
Pete
fine
Davidson.
on Pete. He's fine.
I feel like
you could have used
Ian
any other
has
person.
effectively poisoned that well for me again. Now I'm just kind of annoyed by everything he does. Again.
I thought he was great as whatever the governor of New York.
Andrew Cuomo?
Yeah. I really liked him as that.
Yeah, he's fine.
I don't love him, but I feel like
he's fine.
He's less annoying.
You were to take MGK or Pete Davidson right now. Who'd you choose? You don't get to set both of them on fire. You have to choose.
Okay, if I'm going to shoot one of them,
sure.
Sorry, MGK.
He gone.
I mean, his name is named after like a gun. So
that's easy. That's the easy
Shotgun Kelly works too.
He gets the trank card.
Maybe they're having some kind of transmitting trouble. Why don't we phone the station?
Got a comment, complaint, or opinion for the Dave and Mahoney Morning Show? Leave the good stuff on our voicemail. 833-YO-DUMMY. Again, 833-YO-DUMMY.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Would you guys rather have 3 arms or 3 legs? That's fine.
Message deleted.
Three arms, for sure. I mean, 3 legs would help you to maybe run faster.
I don't think the third leg would be
I feel
mobile.
like it'd be harder to sit down.
I don't think the third leg you would get no use out of it. I feel like it would just be a leg sticking out of your other leg, kind of like a finger, like a sixth finger. It's not really mobile.
I feel like this is the wrong question that we should be asking. I feel like the real question should be, would you rather have 4 legs or 4 arms?
I want none of that.
I mean,
think about how fast you could run with 4 legs.
Would you want an
You could be a straight-up centaur.
Would you want an extra?
An extra ding-a-ling?
Mm-hmm.
Would I take?
Or would you want an extra up lady part? Like if you for like a lady, like if you were like as
an extra boob,
one like a 3 boob,
a 3 boob or a double
dong.
ding-a-ling?
Yeah.
I mean, the double ding-a-ling.
Are they independent? Like, do they have their own personalities?
Yeah, they different girlfriends.
It's kind of like a spork.
Like, or is it like they're all connected? Because then, I feel like you're just getting, or if I can, as they say with the double mint commercials, double your pleasure, double your fun.
Mm-hmm.
If we could do that.
I'm feeling like an extra boob would be hard. You'd have to get.
Does that do anything for anyone? No. Yeah, it just seems like it's being, yeah.
It would just get in the way. I mean, I feel like it would. You'd have to have bras made for you specifically for your third boob, and then your double dong. I feel like you could like. Do you split it? Is it side by side? If it is up and down, that would matter. As putting on jeans would probably.
If you
hurt.
hooked up with a guy with double dong, would that be considered a?
I feel like you'd have to try it out.
That's a threesome.
That's a
I
threesome.
feel like you got to see. Yeah. Well, Ian's had relationships with
girl with 2 hoo-has.
2 hoo-has.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I did interview a woman who had 3
3 boobies?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. You remember?
Yeah,
why does it escape me? I
She was in the
feel like I
movie
remember
Total
that.
Recall?
We've done.
No.
Those were paper mache, and I get so angry about that because I was attracted to those. Don't act like you weren't either.
A paper mache boob.
Yeah, Total Recall, like seeing 3.
I've never seen the movie.
And now if like it had gotten wet, it would have just melted. Just melted off.
See, Dad
Would've been
said
horrible.
the double dong would be fun when playing swords in the bathroom. It'd be like the surprise sword, like you could be sitting there, pow, 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 pow.
Can you be born with
Double dinglings?
or
I don't think so.
3 boobs?
I'm sure.
Well, Ian just said that.
Well, no, but that was probably an implant, right?
A third implant?
No, that was just a third
no,
nipple,
a third.
right?
Oh,
No, there was some like fat in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it was like
Yeah, 'cause it is
right
just a
below
fat sack.
right below
Crazy.
the armpit.
below the armpit. That is an inconvenient place to have a third boob. That would hurt so bad. You're always trying to close your arm and you can't. It's like, why? Like, I bet your shoulder would hurt, or you just get really strong.
Always makes that farting noise.
These huge traps.
Please leave a message after the tone.
Give my 3-year-old a haircut real quick. Cutting my kid's hair, letting him watch, YouTube music on my phone. And he accidentally gets out of it and gets into my porn screen. And my wife's standing there holding his hand because the clippers kind of scare him. And the first thing she says is, "Great, what's that?" So after 45 minutes of trying to explain myself, I'm getting another haircut. Dave style. Have a great one.
Message deleted.
Yeah, so let me
Wait, you're
introduce
getting
you.
divorced because of that?
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Dave
well,
style.
you're getting a haircut Dave style.
Oh, is that what he was referring to? Huh.
No, I think that he was just saying that you're not getting a haircut from your wife anymore.
I mean, he was talking about his kid finding his porn screen.
Yeah.
Ian, what do you think? Do you think that he was saying that Dave is getting a divorce?
I don't think he's going to get divorced. I think what he was saying, he's just in the doghouse right now.
In the doghouse,
yeah.
okay.
And
Yeah, let me introduce you to something called guided access on your phone. So when I give my kid my phone, not that I have like porn screens up, obviously.
I don't know about this. Tell me about it. What is it?
So you double tap on the side button, and then whatever app you're in, for like example with the kids, like kids YouTube, right?
Yeah.
They can't exit out of it.
Oh,
well, that makes good because you don't, even if you were giving your kid your phone, like you don't want them
especially when
randomly texting.
Well, especially when they're
buttons and stuff.
more than anything, you just want them to be entertained by the phone.
Yeah.
And so there's a setting in iPhones at least called guided access, which is great.
I don't feel like I would
save you a lot of heartache
ever
down the road.
divorce somebody for using porn. I feel like that's a very weird, holier than thou.
Yeah, you should
type
have
of
some
mentality.
openness.
Yeah, but you're also fairly liberal with your thoughts on that. There's a lot of people that are out there that have like a no porn and like people that have to sneak porn and
I feel
everything
like
else.
that's a minority, don't you?
Well, no, I think Dave's right that there are a lot of people who who have to hide it and have to not embrace
But
it.
I feel like it's more of a shame thing.
But
Like they
you're-
don't want their partner to know that they're looking at porn, like, or versus them knowing and understanding that porn is a thing
You
that's
just need
happening.
more communication.
Right.
Like,
or
and be
they-
open.
or
Like, be open to like what your partner is into.
Right.
Like, but I feel like that's a
who is it
newer
thinking-
age thing, Audrey. That like, a lot of older folk, even people in Dave and I's age range, are. It was always a taboo
Who is
subject.
assuming their partner is not looking at porn? Who's
A
you're
lot of
seriously
people.
assuming?
A lot of people. I think
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
That is bizarre. I feel like the only time that it would ever get in the way and it would become an issue, not like whether or not you're looking at porn or viewing it, is if you're not having sex anymore because you're only taking care of yourself via porn.
Yeah.
Like that's the only
Yeah.
way. Like I get that. I truly get that.
But you have these
otherwise-
conversations. You laugh when your husband accidentally has his Bluetooth hooked up to the porn and gets in the car or whatever.
But
and
that's,
just starts-
but that's a younger.
right.
That's
but you
because
guys grew up where you always had access to it. you know?
there was a cutoff.
Yeah.
I mean, or there was pre-phones and internet, and then there was post. Like we've had like a duality, or a
Right.
two-part
Do you
life.
think that most people in their 60s are looking at porn on a regular basis? Probably, but are they open about it? Almost certainly not.
Crazy. In our chat, if you want to watch along, twitch.tv/David Mahoney. Native Clown said, I had an ex that would get crazy mad if I watched movies or TV with attractive women, and especially if there were sex scenes.
I had an ex like that would get jealous. Like if there was a sex scene going on in a movie, would look over at me to see if and this is when we were younger, right?
Yeah.
But look over and see if I was watching it. I'm like, of course I am. It's part of this movie.
It's
But
part
then-
of the plot.
But
So
then,
the-
but then would get
that's
like upset.
insecurity.
Oh, just massive insecurity. Yeah.
Okay, well, we need to have some reflection on that moment. Like, I mean, I feel like you can't get mad at somebody. You can't get mad at somebody for watching and consuming media that's made for you based off of whether or not you're
But
insecure
you're-
as a person.
but
Like,
you're
you need to
open.
have some
And-
talks about that with yourself.
No, I think that's we've talked about this. It's normalizing that, but yeah, I feel like you're pretty progressive in that compared to some people, and
yeah,
I think
well,
that's
but I
where
also
we
was
are.
introduced
We
to
all
porn at
are
a
here because
very
we're all
young
perverts.
age. I feel like everybody who is probably in a millennial era ran into porn probably at a way too young of an age.
And Andy said, did y'all know that if you hit the volume button on your iPhone too many times, to turn the sound down, it calls 911 for you? I made that mistake 3 times, and on the 3rd time, a cop was sent to do a welfare check on me to make sure I was okay. It's like, police. You're like, hold on a minute, please. Almost done.
Let's get to the news. It's top stories.
So Rami Malek was the host of Saturday Night Live this past week, and Daniel Craig did show up for a surprise appearance, and he was actually pretty funny in that skit. But, Ian, you watched the whole thing, and you said the writing was pretty meh throughout?
It almost was like they had just a bunch of throwaway jokes from, the past couple of weeks, big episodes, Kim Kardashian, Owen Wilson, and it seems like they're just kind of recycling them. It seemed like the real highlight of the episode was not Young Thug, the musical guest. It wasn't Rami Malek. It was Bowen Yang, who I think
Bowen
really
Yang, yeah.
shined because him and Keenan really seemed like they were in every single sketch.
Yeah, they're saying that it's one of the lowest rated Saturday Night Lives ever. And I mean, Rami, look, I mean, he's a very talented actor. He doesn't really have that charisma, though, to host Saturday Night Live.
Be a villain. You're great at being a villain.
I mean,
Exactly.
Keep doing that.
I mean, when you say he doesn't have charisma, he played Freddie Mercury, who's maybe the most charismatic frontman ever.
But awkward at the same time.
Yeah, but on stage.
On stage would come
I don't know.
out.
I Rami Malek, he came into my purview watching Mr. Robot, and he's since done, Bohemian Rhapsody and a couple other things since then. And obviously, he was in No Time to Die, which is the new James Bond movie. How was he in that, Audrey? You saw it.
He was pretty good, but for Rami, whenever he is playing these roles, he is a very good villain. But his mouth was doing something that was a little weird for me, and I just kept thinking Freddie Mercury. Like I was envisioning him as an evil Freddie. Like I couldn't get it out of